ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरि ओम। Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Hari Om and welcome. I'll chant the Mangalacharan. Vasudevendra Yogendram Natva Jnanapradam Gurum Mumukshunam Hitarthaya Tattvabodho Bhidhiyate. The Vastu Sangrah Vakya. साधन चतुष्ट संपन्न अधिकारिणाम मोक्ष साधन भूतम तत्व विवेक प्रकारम वक्ष्यामः. I am now going to explain the method of Tattva Vivek Vichar, and the method Acharya has adopted is state a word, define it, and then expound on all the words used. So one of the words was sadhan chatushte, and in that we learned one of the qualifications was vivek. And what is vivek? Nitya vastavekam brahma tad vyatiriktam sarvam anityam. The only nitya thing is Brahman, and everything else other than that is anityam. That means that can be negated, and that will in due course of time cease to be. The only thing that does not cease to be is Brahman. And then after sadhan chatushta having done all that, he took up Tattva Vivek and he said, Tattva Viveka kaha Atma Satyam tadanyat sarvam mithyeti. The only Satya is Atma. Other than Atma, everything else is Mithya. So, translation of Satya here is real, and everything other than the real is unreal. It is not truth and falsehood. Right? We have seen why. So, if you see the similarity, in Sadhan Chatushta, he talked of Brahman being the only eternal thing, nitya thing. Now while talking of Tattva Vivek, he is saying the only real thing is Atman. So we'll come to that later on. He will come to it later on, but logically, intuitively we can see Atma and Brahman have a connectivity, because it's not possible that if at one place he says Brahman is the only one, so you can't say therefore there is no Atma. And when he says Atma is the only truth, then you can't say that, or the only reality, then you can't say Brahman doesn't exist. So evidently this leads us to intuitively feel the two are the same. But he'll explain it in his own language. I am only going into it in case a doubt has arisen by this stage. So after having done that, he also defined Atma in three ways. One was what it is not. So he says it is neither the gross body, nor the subtle body, nor the causal body. And then he talked of something called Panch Koshati that we have to do. He said it is beyond that also. And then he says it is the Sakshi of the three states. Avastha Traya Sakshi. Now this state, this is what we are doing now. We have done the waking state. What are the three states? The waking state, the dream state, and the deep sleep state. So we have done the waking state, we read what was the dream state, and now this is what we are going to read from what Swamiji has written. We are going to read that. Any questions so far, what we have done? If you read on your own or mulled it over in your mind, Ira, anything that comes to your mind which is unresolved so far? We are now studying the dream state.
No, we are going to go deeper in the dream state.
Yeah, we are going to go deeper. And these are very critical concepts, because ultimately you will find our entire perspective hinges on these states. Okay, I am reading it. For the question, what is the dream state? The explanation is the world that is projected while in sleep from the impressions born of what was seen and heard in the waking state is called the dream state. The self identified with the subtle body is called Tejas. Anything that is not clear in this explanation? Now Swamiji says, seeing is believing. Also, most of our knowledge in the waking world is gathered through hearing. Therefore, the eyes and the ears are the main sources of gaining experiences. Experiences gained through them, the other senses, the mind and the intellect in the waking state form impressions in the mind. So, whatever we gain through the five senses, the mind and the intellect in the waking state, they go to create impressions in the mind. Right? The more intense or more repetitive the experience, the deeper are the impressions. These impressions are also called vasanas. The mind creates, sustains, and ends the dream world. Who is the creator of the dream world? It is the mind. And mind sustains it. And who ends the dream world? Is the mind that ends. So don't be surprised when we say there are three gods who create, sustain and end. It functions every day within us. Not only the world, but also the enjoyer of this world. So who enjoys the dream world? We are enjoying it. But that enjoyer of the dream world is also created by the mind. That dreamer is also created by the mind, because you, as you know yourself in the waking state, as is not the same in the dream state. So this enjoyer is created by the mind only. The dreamer can have an entirely different identity from the waker. The conscious thinking by the intellect has no role to play in the dream state. Any question on this? Sometimes when you read,
subconscious mind that is creating the dream.
Come again?
It's only the subconscious mind that will create the dream state. Nothing that we consciously do or say.
So the dream is being created by the mind. Now when you use the word subconscious or conscious, it is just a kind of a extra word, because if you mean conscious mind governed by the intellect, then yes, it is not governed by the intellect. So to that extent it is not conscious. But the mind is the same.
Understood.
So not governed by the mind, by the intellect, that mind has a free will. It is on a rampage. It can create anything it feels like, but the domain is on the field of experience that you have had during your waking state. Now this waking state may be of yesterday, last week, last month, last year, and last life also, because the impressions are all stored within. So which impression may come up, and therefore at times you get up saying what the dickens was I doing in that place, or what was it, I don't understand, because the mind has its own way of recalling those impressions. The conscious thinking by the intellect has no role to play in the dream state. This is very important. Often a question is asked whether the intellect is there or not in the dream state. So this question will never be directly answered. It is answered only in this manner, that the conscious thinking by the intellect has no role. That's all. Also, there is no notion of doership, and hence no merit or demerit is created in the dream. So if you remember, in the waking state, I have notion of I am the doer. And when I am the doer, then I must also experience what I have done. Or whatever is happening, I experience it. And this experience gives joy and sorrow. And when I have joy and sorrow, I form attachment and detachment. These become strong impressions. So, subconsciously, I avoid all the things that I don't like, and I do things which I like. But in the dream state, there is no doership and no attachments. You get up saying, oh, it was a nonsensical thing, or it was a dream. As simple as that. So, there is only the notion of enjoyership, bhoktritvam. But again, there is no choice about whether to enjoy or to suffer. So, out in the waking state, you always have a choice to touch hot water or not. And also, you can use your mind to control your responses to a given situation also. So, we'll talk about this in due course, but if there's a question, we can take it up. Dreams are the unfulfilled wishes of the waker, or the garbled impressions of the waking state, that do not require gross manifestation. One may dream of winning a lottery ticket or of a horse flying. The dream may seem strange, or the sights illogical or ridiculous to the waker, but the dreamer does not feel so. The self does not identify with the gross body then, but only with the subtle and causal bodies. The individual is then called Tejas. Who is the individual? The Atma. When in the waking state, that self or the Atma was called Vishwa. Vishwa means total. Why total? Because it is identified with the gross, with the subtle and the causal bodies. Now it is called Tejas because Tejas is all lit up. Here the mind is all lit up with creativity. It is on fire, literally. So this self identified with the causal and the subtle bodies is called Tejas. Right? The individual is then called Tejas. As the dream world is thought created, Tejomaya antakaran vritti rupava tejasaha. This is the definition of Tejas. What is it? When the antakaran, your inner self, has the vritti of Tejomaya Roop. Tejomaya Roop is all fiery, lit up, creative. As compared to a dream where you are totally in a sleep state, here it is totally active, volcanic. Your mind is totally volcanic, Tejomaya. The dream may seem unreal to the waker, but it is very real to the dreamer. Is it so? Okay. So, just to extrapolate, the life we are leading can also be related to a what? Of a dreamer. We take this world to be real. And only when you get enlightened and wake up to that state of enlightenment, then you say, what a dream world we were living in. As an aside, not to jump the topic, but I'm saying this is a beautiful thing, these three states, this is how we are. Any questions? Okay.
So what, I have a question on this.
Yeah.
It feels so real for the dreamer. So for the dreamer, it is real.
Yeah, it is real, absolutely. That's what Swamiji is also saying. Everybody acknowledges when you are dreaming, you feel, I'm reminded of this film Inception.
Yeah.
Huh? How very real and how very scary. But that's how it is.
In the dream.
Yeah. You create your dreams. In that, they are creating these dreams. And when they go into it, they feel that they are actually living it. And sometimes they get trapped also. Most of us get trapped in our dream. The ones that we are living in right now. Huh?
So from the dream state, we come to our current state, which is where the Vishwa is your identification.
That is the three.
Then taking, where do we go? What is the...
So you see, these are the three states of consciousness. But when you are talking of life, when I'm saying that you are leading, even this waking state is a dream state, then from this you go to enlightenment. That is your waking state. Once you are enlightened, then there is no other stage to go to. Whereas these three states are cyclical. Dream, sleep, wake up, or wake up, dream, sleep. It can be, but they keep on going on.
But the enlightenment cannot be experienced by your waking state.
Enlightenment cannot be.
So like the dreamer cannot be, like the dreamer is experiencing the dream. For them it's real. So, and in our whatever current state we are experiencing this current reality, whatever we call it. But in your enlightenment, say these two will not exist. It will be another realm.
No, you see,
enlightenment.
An enlightened person doesn't cease to be a human being, number one. He doesn't give up the body. And it is the body which is going through sleep and waking and so forth. So in the waking state you feel hungry, your senses receive the information, you grasp things, you walk. So an enlightened person will also be doing the same things you do. But here, that enlightened person's state is not to be confused with the waking state, dream state and deep sleep state in that sense. Enlightened person has a one-to-one correspondence. You have to see an enlightened person and we leading this life of utter confusion where we see this world around as reality. This is a dream world for him. And what is a deep sleep? Let us say that is the pralaya state, when everything goes like you have Noah's Ark taking a few things in his ship. Everything goes for a toss. I'm just, as I said, don't get confused right now. But these three states correspondingly, they correspond to that bigger dimension in this way. I hope I have not confused you further.
Getting it.
Okay. So, having done the waking, dream, now we come to the deep sleep state. Atha sushupte avastha ka aham kim api na janami sukhen maya nidra anubhuyata iti सुषुप्ते अवस्था कारण शरीर अभिमानी आत्मा prajna itya uchyate. So now we will talk about what is sushupti avastha. Sushupti is the deep sleep state. Now, what is that state? Aham kim api na janami. Aham is I. Kim api na janami. I do not know anything. That's a very famous sentence. Whenever you have to define your deep sleep state, you say aham kim api na janami. I do not know anything what happened. Except sukhen maya nidra anubhuyata iti. Except that I experienced anubhuyat. I experienced in nidra, in deep sleep, sukhen, happiness within me. I did not know anything. I enjoyed good sleep. That is the state of deep sleep. Iti sushupti avastha. That is good deep sleep state. Then, what is the self called in that state? Karan sharir abhimani atma prajna itya uchyate. The self identified with the causal body is called prajna. Right? Any questions? So with the waking state, the self is called Vishwa. In the dream state, it is called Tejas. In the deep sleep state, it is called Prajna. Now in North India, you can also Pragya. It's not Pragya, it is Pragya. And in South India, the Gya is pronounced as Nya. So it is Prajna. Okay. When one gives up identification with the gross and the subtle bodies and identifies only with the causal body, one is said to be in deep sleep state. In that state, one experiences the absence of all objects, emotions, and thoughts. Objects come during the waking state. There are no objects in the dream state. And emotion and thoughts come in the dream state. They are there in the waking state. Waking state, everything is there. When one awakens from it, one says, I did not know anything, but I was happy. I slept well. This memory of having slept well or otherwise proves the presence of I, the experiencer, even in the absence of the world. It's a difficult concept, so digest it. Hence, the joy experienced is of one's own true nature. This is what that day analogy was trying to answer. Ignorance is bliss. I experience happiness in ignorance, but we'll talk about it. Due to ignorance, we do not know this, and so we wake up as ignorant as ever, looking for joy in the world of objects yet again. It's a very loaded paragraph. If you don't have questions now, you will have questions when you read it properly. You mark those things because very important to understand each and everything. What is this feeling of joy when you when you are in deep sleep? Which you say, Kimapi na janami, I slept well. Where does that joy come from?
From what? No?
From?
For the Satyam, Anand, what we say, it's that, it's giving us that feeling.
Yeah. So, we have not come to it yet. Our basic nature is bliss. So there I was not aware of anything, and that joy which I did not know what it is due to, that is our own nature. Hmm?
But you're experiencing the joy when you wake up.
Yeah. So the experience is not on waking up. The experience is of having had a good sleep, of the joy of the sleep. The moment you get up, you start looking for joy in the objects. You say, I had a very good sleep, I am very happy about that. Huh?
So we've actually experienced that joy during that deep sleep.
Yes. And it is that joy. And now, point is, when you say, I did not know anything, so the logic here is, who's saying I did not know anything? He is saying I did not know anything. Who was there? So, what is the definition of Atma? Avastha Traya Sakshi, the witness of the three states, waking, dream and deep sleep. So now how to show that the Atma is witnessing the deep sleep? Because you are getting up saying, I did not know anything. So that is evidenced by the fact that one who is saying, I did not know anything, is the one who was witnessing. The presence of that one is established. The moment somebody says, I did not know, that means you were there. You experienced that joy which you are now saying. We'll talk about it more. Yeah, tell me. Anything, Anuji?
Arunji, I thought this said I experienced the bliss, that I would be the Vishwa. When you got up in the morning and you would say, yes, I mean, it was you now in the current, you experienced that state. I mean, it may have been just like a good sleep. So it was that.
So it was that. So now what have you understood? Other than Vishwa, what have you understood?
That basically got a good sleep. There was no, I had no recollection of what was there other than the fact that I was happy, I had a good sleep. And so who's saying this? I felt it was which was saying this when we got up.
So you are having a confusion about my saying Atma is that Sakshi, whereas actually the one who saw was Vishwa.
Yeah.
So now revisit. We are saying Atma identified with all the three bodies in the waking state is Vishwa.
It's Vishwa, yeah, got it.
And Atma identified with the ignorant causal body is Prajna. So that Atma remains the same. It is having different names because it's getting associated with different things in different states. Witness तो वही है ना. Done. चलो.
I have one question.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is the purpose of the dream state actually?
What is the purpose of the dream state? So you see, as I said, we might be jumping the gun when we talk about it now, but I have I am not quoting anything right now, so this is my experience, that whatever you experience in life and whatever is happening in nature, you find it happens, there is a certain law. It's not random. There is a law. And out here, when you have this dream and you go to an unreal world, then you have to understand, you have to start thinking, what does it mean, as you are saying now? What does it mean? It only means that it is possible for you to live in a dream world and think it's real.
Okay.
It's so real that you have to laugh like this. You see, right now why she's laughing, that uncle is saying this world that we see real is actually dream, like the dream world. She's laughing at that.
And the dream world is teaching us that that's the lesson.
Yes.
That your
Yes.
reality is a dream.
Yes. Yes.
Not
Yes. You can laugh right now till you become serious one day.
But Guruji, the dream world also has been created from the impressions from our real world.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
It is kind of a manifestation of our real world only.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. So, what you are manifesting in your waking state, which I am calling a dream, is
Yeah.
basically your vasanas wanting to express themselves.
Okay.
And that is why you choose a different house to be born in, you choose a different body to live in. What vasanas you have, you cannot express in a different home and in a different body. You need that very home and that very body to express yourself. And you will find another very beautiful thing. One thing is seen by 10 people and the story given out are 10 different stories. The thing is the same what happened. Right? There's a wonderful book, wonderful film by Akira Kurosawa. I'm forgetting the name right now. It's about a certain incident which is narrated by different people, what I'm saying, and the stories. Sorry?
Life of Pi.
No. I'll tell you tomorrow. I'll tell you. I've forgotten the name. Wonderful film. I have it with me. If somebody, I don't know how to share it. It's a big file, or maybe I've deleted it. I don't know.
Get it, we'll find it.
Huh?
I said you get till.
Yeah. It's Akira Kurosawa, I know, Japanese filmmaker. Anyway, so sum and substance is what you see, only you see, not necessarily what your neighbor is seeing. Right? So this illustrates maybe I don't know whether it's a fact or the statement that what you are saying is not real. It's our creation. That's deep.
What we perceive is also dependent on our vasanas. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. That is why it changes now.
Yeah.
And this class itself, what each one is grasping is different.
Yes, very true.
And every time this class is held, every time you grasp something else, because you have changed in the meantime. Your vasanas have changed. Your ability to perceive and see will change. Okay?
That is what the ultimate aim is of our class.
Yeah.
How we perceive the world.
I think the ultimate aim is the knowledge of Tattvabodha.
The ultimate. And then once you have that knowledge, how we traverse this world.
So, again, if you have that knowledge, there's a full stop.
Okay, all right.
What do you do then?
Okay.
But what you have to do is get the sadhana chatushtaya first
Okay.
to be able to sit in Tattvabodha. Then there is no traveling.
Okay.
Then you have arrived.
All right.
An enlightened person doesn't do anything.
All right.
Even while doing, this is the famous verse of Gita, even while doing he doesn't do, and without doing he is doing everything.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So we'll talk about it when we study Gita. Okay. I am chanting the concluding prayer. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namah Hari Om. May the Lord bless us that we may reach our destination. Hari Om.